Hi, my name is Abby and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Today, our gospel is taken from Luke chapter 19, verses 45 to 48. And where we are in today's gospel is Jesus is approaching Jerusalem, the center of religion. And what this means in the whole storyline is Jesus is ending his earthly ministry and he's about to begin his passion. So he comes to the temple and he begins to drive out people who sold things, saying to them, "It is written, my house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." Okay. The temple is very important here. The temple is literally a structure of prayer. It's located in the center of Jerusalem, which is a capital for culture. It's also a capital for religious activity. So even until now. So the temple is also, for the Jewish people, it's where God's Spirit resides, nowhere else. It's just in the temple. So this is where everyone journeys to pray. People have to make long journeys just to get to the temple and just to talk to God and to make a prayer to Him. So it's really important that this temple has to be secure. Okay. A temple is also a symbolism for God's collective people. God anointed His people to be like a temple. More on that some other time. And Jesus says here, my house shall be a house of prayer. It's intended, the temple is intended to be a place of prayer, a place where people can talk to and reach God. So when Jesus says it is written in the gospel, then it's most likely, it is definitely written in the Old Testament. So when he says here, my house shall be a house of prayer, he's actually quoting Isaiah 56 verse 7. And this is the vision of Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, of God's people coming to him and drawing near to a temple. The full quote in Isaiah 56 is, my house shall be a house of prayer for all the nations. All the nations. Everyone is called to draw near. So what's the problem with these robbers? So you have made it into a den of robbers. You've made it into a house of people who steal. Okay, definition check. What is a robber? A robber is someone who benefits unjustly from others' poverty by taking from them. A robber is someone who steals the opportunity of gain for those who actually deserve it. Jesus is talking to these people who are selling animals around the temple for sacrifice, which is another context in itself during that time. But basically, people had to offer animals to make a prayer to God. Times have changed, but that's the way things worked back then. So instead of just freely taking an animal and bringing it to this altar, they had to pay. And imagine if you are living day by day, wage by wage, and you only have enough money to provide for the food for the day. You can't make a prayer to God. It will be hard because you don't have that money for your prayers to reach God. And that's what Jesus is trying to say. This is the den of robbers that has been created. People are making it harder for others to reach God. Because of the system, you have to buy an animal. So what about the poor? They don't have enough money to pray, to talk to the Lord. In another sense, Jesus is also talking about the system that has been created by the church leaders at the time. You are making it a den of robbers. So robbers, what do you mean? Aren't they supposed to be good people? At the time, only a certain set of people could come to the Lord. The rigidity of the system back then made it hard for people of all nations to come and pray to God. So if it was already hard for the poor Jewish man, because he couldn't buy a dove to sacrifice. How much more the Gentile man, the person from a different nation, from a different tribe, from a different culture, they might not even be offered the opportunity to talk to God. And this is kind of the robbery that Jesus is pertaining to, and he wants to drive everyone away. He wants to cleanse the temple and renew it so that the floodgates are open for people to come and know God. And why is that important? Because again, the house of prayer is for all nations. God's love, that relationship that he wants, isn't just for a specific set of people. It's for all the nations. By driving out the robbers, the people who corrupted it, and trying to get rid of the system that corrupted the temple, Jesus renewed it by preaching the good news daily, every day. And it says here in the gospel, the people, the principal men who were trying to destroy him, didn't find anything they could do because all the people were hanging on to his words. These words that preach of the truth of God's love for them, all encompassing and merciful. The fulfillment of God's vision for humanity was the reason why all the people clung to Jesus' words. This is exactly what God intended. That people are free to come to get to know his love, to come and have a relationship with him and speak to him every day. So maybe today, God is inviting us to revisit. Are we actually robbing people of the opportunity to get to know God, to get to know his love and mercy? Possibly because of our fear to preach the gospel. No, I don't wanna tell them about the gospel or about my relationship with God because they might judge me. Or maybe we have our own personal biases that, they won't listen to me, or they won't get it. Or maybe we're just not being mindful that people actually need to hear about God's love, his personal relationship, and desire to love them personally. Maybe God's asking us to revisit that, or maybe God is reminding us today that his call to follow him and to follow his way of self-sacrificing love, it's not just for you. It's not just for a certain set of people. But the way of self-sacrificing love is for the person that you will not think of. The least likely person you think is actually the target audience for this. God died not just for you, not just for a certain set of people. God died also for his enemies. Jesus loved all, even unto death. He loved not just his friends, not just his brothers, not just his disciples, but the whole world, even those who hated him. So maybe we're being asked to revisit or be reminded that God also, Jesus' love and God's relationship with mankind isn't just for you, it's even for those who we don't expect. Those are the people who cling to the words of God's love. So, if you were blessed by this short reflection, I invite you to please like and share Pathways of Hope to a friend, to a loved one. Again, I'm Abby. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day. Peace be with you, and God bless.